Hello, family. I want to greet you specially today. My name is Favor Francis, and today I'm going to be taking you on a journey to learning data analysis with Microsoft Excel online. And today we're going to be learning how to create pivot tables using Excel, using Microsoft Excel. Right, so I want you to get ready. I want you to get set in order for us to kickstart this journey. This particular lesson is a continuation of the previous lesson we had. So if you haven't watched the previous lesson, you want to go forward, you want to go back and watch that particular lesson. For those of you that are currently on our online training, you're currently on the live section, please, this lesson is going to address your project, is going to be used to address the projects that you'll be having next, right? Okay, so I already have my data. I've already imported my data. For those of you that need the data for this lesson, please, the data is on the description of this video. So you want to make sure you check the description of this video. The data link is on the description of this video. So go to the description of this video, click on the link, and then get access to the data. Download the data so that you can import this data into your Microsoft Excel online. Is that okay? So I'm going to address some things that some people are finding difficult from the last lesson, right? And which is making their filtering and their sorting not to function properly. Now, the first thing you need to do immediately you have your data in here, I'm going to convert my data so that it can be editable. I did this in the previous lesson. I'm going to quickly run down through this one more time. So I'm going to go to the top right hand corner of my screen where you're going to see viewing, just very close to the share button. I'm going to click on that viewing and I'll change it to editing, and then the pop-up windows for me to convert the data is going to pop up for me, and I'm going to convert my data. Okay, so I'm waiting for it to be done with the conversion and all that, so that I can show you the little issue some of you were having. Now, the moment you're done converting your data, you will find out that on this data there is a blank space here. There's a gap. You see the blank space, there's a blank row over here. The number 2 row is blank. The number 2 row is blank. So what you want to do is to go to that number 2 row, click on the name 2, the number 2, and right click on it to delete that blank row. Right click on it to delete that blank row. So when you right click on it, there's this pop-up information in front of your screen that will tell you delete row 2. Are you seeing it? Delete row 2. Again, delete row 2. So I'm going to delete row 2. Now you see that we don't have any blank space on this data set anymore. So now we don't have a blank space on this data set. I'm going to click on anywhere on the data set, on any cell on this data set, and then I will press Ctrl A to highlight the entire data cell. Ctrl A to highlight the entire data cell. Now, the moment I am done highlighting the entire data cell, which is the step A, right? I take my mouse cursor, I move to the more option, I click on the more option, and then I'm going to see the option that says format as table. So I'm going to choose the table format I want. I can choose this. I love the orange, and this pop-up tells me that yes, the data for your table is in the following range, A1 to J1. So, and this, my table has a header, is checked yes, so I'll click on OK. The moment you do this, your table, your data set is going to be formatted on a table. Is that okay? It will be formatted on a table. right? So you see that the formatting is neat. Now if you want to do your filtering and your sorting, it becomes easy. You won't be having those issues some of you were having previously, right? Especially those that were in the live section. Okay, but if you didn't have this issue, then it's good. Is that okay? So what you want to do now is to, if you want to do your filtering and your sorting, because of filtering and sorting is another incredible technique when it comes to formatting of data. What is filtering? Filtering is removing those things you don't want to see on your data, whereas sorting is the arrangement of your data, whether from ascending to descending order or from descending order to ascending order. Come on, are you with me? Let's go. So I'm just quickly going to filter my data. So you see this drop down on the data headings. Where are the data headings? You see this: gender, race, ethnicity, parental level of education, launch, test preparation. You see all these, those are the heading. So if you click on the drop down, so let's filter for only group A, the race, ethnicity. So if I click on the drop down, I can see, you see, I can see the filters. You can see that all the data are selected. I can uncheck this or select all and only check the A, the group A. Now, if I check only the group A and I click on apply, right, you can see that the only data I will find here is just the group A data, the group A race ethnicity data. Are you seeing it? So you can go back to that filter again, and what, and if you want to filter for just A and B, you can go further and filter for just A and B. Right now, if you want to get all your data back, you want to get all your data back, you're done with the filtering and you just want to have all your data back, you can go back and select the all data, select all. You click on the select all, check that select all again, and then you're going to have apply, and then you have back all your data the way it was before. Is that okay? So that is filtering. For sorting, you want to be able to arrange your data either alphabetical order, ascending or descending order. So let me use the race ethnicity column again, the race ethnicity data column again. I'll click on that. Now I want to do it from A to Z, right? From A to Z. I want to arrange my data from A to Z. So if I click on the A to Z, you find out that the data is now arranged from A to Z. Are you seeing what I'm doing? Let me zoom in a little. Are you seeing it? You can see that group A, after group A, you have group B now, after group B, group C now. So we are sorting this data from the race ethnicity column. Is that okay? Are you seeing it? So the data is sorted. So you can sort your data from any column of your choice. You can decide to say, okay, I want to sort it on the parental level education. I want to have all the A's first. So let's do that. I click on the parental level education. I click on from A to Z. You can see that you have all the A's first. Can you see it? You have all the associate degree first before you go to the B. Are you seeing it? So it has been sorted alphabetically from the A to the Z. You can do descending order from the Z to A as well. So this is all about sorting and filtering. So let me go back and clear the sorting I just did in order for my data, to come back to the in order for my data to come back to the original state. Is that okay? So I want my data to come back to the original state. So I'm click on this and I'll say the sorting. I'll disable the sorting. I'll just click on this and I'll just say no, click on this and the sorting. Okay, sorts on this. So A, good. So I can just come here and say sheets view, clear filter. Okay, so I come here and I clear that out. Is that okay? So I come here and I clear that out. Okay, so that is that for sorting and filtering. Are you seeing it? That is that for sorting and filtering. So the next thing we are going to do on this data, are you seeing what I'm doing, is to create a pivot table on this data, using this data to create a pivot table, using this data to create a pivot table. So what do we do previously? I showed you how to filter, I showed you how to sort your data. So we are going to use this data to create a pivot table. So how do you create a pivot table? So let me reduce the data again. Let me reduce the zoom so that you can see the entire data. So step A, to create a pivot table. Please guys, follow me. This is going to be your project. For those of you in the live section, make sure you're following me. This is your project. So this is what you're going to do as your project. So I'm going to select any cell on this data. I will select any cell on this data. So that's what I just did now. And then I will go to the insert menu. So you can see the insert menu at the top left hand corner of my screen. So I'll go to the insert menu, select the insert menu, select the insert menu. Are you seeing what I'm doing? And then one of the tools under the insert menu is the pivot table tools. You can see the pivot table, you can see the table, you can see the forms, the pivot table, the table, and the forms. So I'll select the pivot table. The moment you click on the pivot table, there is this pop-up that's going to come for you right now, and you can see this pop-up that says create pivot table. It selects the entire range of the table you want to make a pivot, and then it is telling you, do you want to create this pivot table on a new worksheet or on an existing worksheet? Is that okay? So where we want to create this pivot table is on a new worksheet. So you leave the new worksheet option enabled, and then you select OK. Now the moment you select OK, is that okay? For those of you in the live class, I believe your facilitator went through this. So because of this is supposed to be your project, that's why I'm going through it again to show you exactly what you're doing for your project. Now, the moment you select that new worksheet, you find out that a new sheet opens for you. So you can see the two different sheets over here. You can see the where your table is. You can see the sheet where your table is at the bottom right here. Look at the bottom where my cursor is hovering. You can see a new sheet open for you. You can see sheet one. We didn't have sheet one before, but sheet one just opened for us because of we want to create a pivot table. Is that okay? Right? So we come here, and then now you have this area, you have this pivot table area. You can now select, you can start analyzing your data using the pivot table. Is that okay? You can start analyzing your data using the word the pivot table. You can start analyzing your data using the pivot table. So let's analyze some data. let's analyze let's get some analysis from our data set. So what is the first analysis our management or our client wants us to analyze for them, and how do we use pivot table to achieve this? How do we use the pivot table to achieve this? So the first analysis is to analyze the parental level and their math score. So our client, right? Our client, our management, with this data they give to us as their data analyst, right? They want to know the total score, the total math score based on parental level. They want to know the total math score based on parental level. So what you're going to do now, you come to this other area at the right hand side that says the pivot table fields. You come to this right area, and then you select the parental level. You can see the check boxes. You click on the checkbox to select the parental level, and immediately you do that, the parental level will appear on the role option. Are you seeing it? On the role option. And then you go to the math score and select the math score. The moment you do that, the math score will appear on the value section. Are you seeing it? It will appear on the value section. Now when you look at your cells here, you can see that it has been arranged. The pivot table has helped you to arrange and find out the total score based on parental level of education. You can see associate degree have a total score of 15,070. Bachelor's degree has a total score of 8,188. High school degree has a total score of 12,179. You can see it right here. So with this, you can know the parental level of education that has the highest score. Are we together? That has the highest score from this data being analyzed using the pivot table. Are you seeing it? Right. So with this, we're already doing analysis. So what we are going to do now, we have done the first pivot table. So they want us to do to analyze another data for them. So in order to do that, to get another pivot table separate from this, we are going to select this one. We're going to select this one right here, holding your left click on your mouse. So you select this entire data and then you right click to copy. You copy it, go to a blank space here at the bottom, a blank cell right here at the bottom. You go to the blank cell right here at the bottom, just give two spaces, two cell spaces, two cell spaces, and then you select the number, the third cell space, and you do Control V to paste, or you can right click and say paste. Right, the moment you paste, you have copied that pivot table, and you are what, you have copied it and you have pasted it right here. So now let's edit this, because of we have done this parental level of education before. We don't want to repeat it again. So what is the second analysis that our client or our management is looking for? They want to know, they want to get the total reading score based on race ethnicity. They want to get the total reading score based on race ethnicity. So what I'm going to do now, I will go back to this pivot table fields and change the field. So we had the parental level of education checked and the math score. So we are going to uncheck them, because that is not what we need. So I'm going to uncheck the parental level of education, and I will also uncheck the math score. And then for this second pivot table, I will check the race ethnicity. Are you seeing it? The race ethnicity, and I will check the reading score, because that's what they want to confirm. That's what our client, that's what the management of our company wants to confirm. So they want to know the reading score based on, they want to get the total analysis of the reading score based on race ethnicity. So when I do that, you find out that it has appeared on the pivot table. You can see the race ethnicity. With this, you have been able to analyze using the pivot table which race ethnicity is performing better in terms of reading score. You can see group A, group B, group C, group D, group E. So if I look at this, I can tell you that group C is the highest performing race ethnicity based on the sum of reading score. It has 22,044. Are you saying it? Now let's do one more. Let's do one more so that you can get used to this. So the same thing I did from the first one, I'm going to copy this one again. I want another pivot table. I will copy this, right click to copy, and then select the entire pivot table, and then I will copy. The moment you copy, you will see something like dotted lines circling around that thing you copied. The moment you see dotted lines circling, you know that what you copied has copied. Is that okay? So I'm going to give two spaces again, and then I will paste it here. Right, so I have my third pivot table. I have the third pivot table. You can see it right here. The third pivot table, you can see it right here. So what is the third thing our sponsors wants us to do? They want us to show the total score performance, based on the parental level of education. The total score performance based on the parental level of education. So our clients, our management, they want to see how the parental level of education, right, how they are performing in total. Do you get what I'm saying? In total, the submission of all the things, all the figures, all the value, how they are performing in total. So let's get it. So we are going to select from this race and sum of reading score. We are going to uncheck that now, and then we'll select the parental level of education, and then we'll go back and select the total score. So the moment we do this, we'll have another pivot table again. Are you seeing it? We have another pivot table again, or pivot table again. Are you seeing it? You see what we have here. Now, the moment you've gotten all your tables, the next thing is to create your what? Your pivot chart. Is to create your pivot chart. Is to create your pivot chart. Are you seeing it? So let's go ahead and create our pivot chart. So how do we create our pivot chart right now? We start from the first one, we select it, we select the pivot table, and then we go to insert. Step A, to create your pivot chart. You select the pivot table, you go to insert. Are you seeing what I'm doing? I'm starting from the first pivot table. You go to insert, click anywhere on the first pivot table, go to the insert menu, and then you're going to see the chart here. You look at these things that are looking like the chart, look at where my mouse cursor is hovering, and then you click on the drop down. Once you click on the drop down, the first one, we're trying to know the relationship, we're trying to know the sum. So we can do that using a column chart. So we select the column chart, and then we have a nice column chart that gives us the graphical representation of what? Of our pivot table. Are you seeing it? Of our pivot table? Are you seeing it? So I can reduce it using these transform points. The edges are called the transform point. I can reduce the size to make it smaller, drop it one side, one corner of my screen. After I'm done with this, I will go to the next one. I will select this second chart, this second pivot table, to create a pivot chart for this second pivot table. So I'll select this second pivot chart, go to insert, this same process, go to insert, and this time around we want to do a pie chart for it. We want to represent it using a pie chart. We select it, we select the pie chart, and a pie chart will be given to us. So you can see it, very nice and incredible pie chart that shows us the differences from each group. Are you seeing it? The group based on what? A clear difference. You can see it here. So I will zoom, I'll reduce the size a little and drag it. Now the third chart is for the parental level and sum of total score. I will select the pivot table again. When I mean select, I mean click, just click anywhere on the pivot table to show that this is the pivot table you want to generate a chart on. Is that okay? So I'm going to select this pivot table again, the last one, go to insert again, and then I'll select the chart. Please note that you can watch this video again and again to get it properly before you do your project. Before you do your project, please don't be in a haste. Have patience. Watch the video again and again and again before you do your project. This is exactly your project. So we come here, click on the drop down, and then this time around we're going to use a bar chart. So we select the bar chart, and then we have our chart right here. You see it? I'll reduce the size using the edges. You see this edge, that the transform point. You see the edges, top left hand corner, top right hand corner. Are you seeing it? Bottom, those are the place you can use to scale or reduce the size of the graph. So I'll select this graph, place it here. So now I am done with this. I want to create a dashboard, right, that represents my chart so that it can be easy for management or those in charge of decision making to understand. Because of, if you send the pivot table to your sponsors, to your clients, to your management, to your CEO, to those in charge of performance assessment, they might not understand. So it's better you represent these things on a chart that is easy for somebody to grab. Is that okay? That is easy for someone to interpret, right? That is what we mean by interpreting your data, right? So we come here, and you see this plus icon. We're going to create a new sheet just to represent the chart. I believe in your life lesson your instructor showed you how to do it in an existing sheet, so I'm going to show you how to do it in a new sheet. So I'll click on this plus icon to create a new sheet. You can see this plus icon at the bottom, this plus icon to create a new sheet. You can see I have sheet 2 now. The first one we created, the pivot table, was on sheet 1. Now I have sheet 2. You can create multiple sheets. On Excel we call them sheets, on Microsoft Word we call them pages. So what is likened to pages on Microsoft Word, it is called sheets in Excel. Is that okay? Good. So I create a new sheet, right? And then I will go back to my pivot tables. Now I'm going to import this chart into the new sheet. I'm going to move this chart into the new sheet. But before I do that, let me configure my new sheet to look like a dashboard. So now I have this new sheet. Come on, walk with me. Walk with me. How did I create the new sheet? Some people might be confused. I took my mouse cursor, came down, and you see this plus icon at the bottom, at the tax bar. You can see it here at the bottom of your Excel online. You can see it. Click on that plus sign to create a new sheet, and the moment you do that, you can click on that new sheet to open the new sheet. So this is a new sheet, very blank. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to change the background color. So I'll click on this demarcation between the the row and the column. You can see A and 1. You can see the column A and the row 1. There is a little demarcation space right here. If I click on it, it will select the entire cell, and then I can go to my formatting tool area, and then I will select the fill color. You can see it just beside the border formatting tool, or two step beside the bold letter. So after the bold letter, you can count to 1 2. You will see the fill color. Look at where my mouse cursor is hovering. You click on that drop down in order for you to have a fill color. So I love black, so I will just use black for mine. I love black, so I'll just use black for mine. You can use any color of your choice. So, but me, I love the black background. Is that okay? I love the black background. Very okay, very nice. Is that okay? So you can choose your color. You can choose any color of your choice. Is that okay? So you can choose any color of your choice. You can choose any color of your choice. You can choose any color of your choice. So I just chose the black background. Is that okay? So I chose the dark background, not really that black, but dark. So now I have this dark background. Is that okay? So I'm going to be bringing in my chart. Before I bring in my chart, I'm going to be creating a text box to title my chart. So I will go to insert. Remember, I'm working on sheet 2. I will go to insert and select text box. Look at text box at the extreme, just close to the share button. You can see it just below the share button. You can see text box. I will select that text box. Are you seeing it? I will select that text box, and then I will draw a text box. Now if you're drawing your text box, make sure you don't go beyond the I column. Make sure you don't go beyond the I column. So you see your text box, so I'll drag the text box, and then I will draw the text box. Make sure you don't go beyond the I column, because of the I column. After the I column is the starting of a new page, so you don't want your dashboard to be scattered. Is that okay? So make sure it is from the A column to the I column. Make sure you don't go beyond the I column. The moment you go beyond the I column, that means you're breaking down your dashboard into 2 pages, and you just want it to be on one single page. When you export as a PDF, you want it to be on one single page when you export as a PDF. So make sure you don't go beyond the I column. So you see what I'm doing? I'm making sure I don't go beyond the I column. You're seeing me, you're seeing what I'm doing. So I just created this nice text box, right? I can type inside of it. So I'll call this my dashboard. I'll call, you can put your name, everybody put your name. So I'll call this Favor Francis dashboard. So I'll just call this Favor Francis dashboard, right? And then I can now edit this. I will center this dashboard, this name, so I can edit it, right? I'll click on it, and then I'll go to the alignment. You can see the alignment where my mouse cursor is hovering. Are you seeing it? The alignment tool. We are still on the home. We are still on the home. We are still on the home. I will select the alignment to align center. So I want to align it center, favor Francis dashboard. You can go ahead and increase the font size, make it bigger. You can also go ahead and give it a background. So if you don't like the white background, you can go ahead and add a fill. Like me, I want to change the background to something like this. So I want to change the background. I don't really like the white background, so I gave it this yellow background using the fill tool. You can see the fill tool. My mouse cursor is hovering on the fill tool right now. You can see it, you can see it, you can see it. How do you access the fill tool to change the background of your text box? First of all, select the text box. Click on the text box to select the text box before you can find the fill tool for the text box to change the background color. Now, once you're done with this, let's go and import our chart. So I will go back, I will take my mouse cursor. Come on, walk with me. How do we import our chart? ABC technique. Let's go. Step A. Go back to your sheets where you have your chart, where you have your pivot tables and your charts. Are you seeing what I'm seeing right here? Go back to the sheet where you have your pivot table and your chart, and then you select the chart. We are going to be taking this one by one. There's no rush. One by one. So I will select the first chart, right, that belongs to the first pivot table. Are you seeing it? That belongs to the first pivot table. I'll select the first chart, right click, right click, right click, right click. It doesn't matter if you're using a mouse or a trackpad on your keyboard. Right click and you see this option that says move chart, move chart, move chart, MOVE, move chart. You click on the move chart and a pop-up is going to show up that tells you where do you want to move this chart to. So the dashboard sheet is called the sheet 2. Are you seeing it? Sheet 2. Can we remember that I created a new sheet called sheet 2? That new sheet is the sheet for the dashboard. So I'll click on it, I'll select sheet 2, I'll click OK. So now I click OK. You see that my chart has appeared on the dashboard area. I can now move, holding my left click, drag and move my dashboard, my chart, and place it very well. You can see it. I'm placing it nicely. I'm placing it nicely, very well. Make sure it doesn't go beyond the column I. Make sure it doesn't go beyond the column I, right? Because the moment you make it to go beyond the column I, it means that you want to what? It means that you want your dashboard to be broken down into 2 pages, and it's not going to look nice, it's not going to look neat. Is that okay? Make sure it doesn't go beyond the column I. So I'll come again, go back to my pivot table and select the next chart. Are you seeing what I'm doing? I will select the next chart, right click on the next chart, and I'll click on move chart. Select where my dashboard is. You can rename these things, don't worry, I'll show you how to rename it at the ending. I'll select this sheet 2, click on OK, and now I'll have my second chart over here. So I'll pick my second chart and I'll reduce the size. Make sure it doesn't go beyond the I. Make sure it doesn't go beyond the column I. Make sure it doesn't go beyond the column I. Make sure it doesn't go beyond the column I, so that your dashboard will not be broken down into 2 pages. So the next thing, I will go to sheet, the last chart, right, for the pivot table, the last chart. I will right click on it, select it by clicking on it, right click on it, and then I will select move chart. I will select the move chart and select where I want to move this chart to. I want to move this chart to sheet 2. I'll select the sheet 2, click OK, and then it's going to appear on sheet 2 for me. I will drag and then I can make this one to be at the bottom. Are you seeing what I'm doing? And then drag it to contain the whole position. I see what I'm doing, nice and neat. Now I have this wonderful dashboard. Are you seeing it? Crazy, nice. I have this wonderful dashboard. If you want to export so that you can submit this as your project, because of this is your project, so you are submitting it using the submission link for those of you attending the live training. So you come here, click on the file and select what? Export. So you are exporting as a PDF, not a CSV. PDF, not CSV. PDF, not CSV. So you select the download as PDF, and the download option is going to open for you right here. The way my, are you seeing? Wow, are you seeing how nice this dashboard is? It's nothing magical, it's something you can be. Are you seeing how you are giving it to your management, to your clients, as a professional data analyst, so that they can be able to make informed decision with your data? So once you come here, you can select, make some adjustment to the settings. What are the settings adjustments you need to make? You can change the paper size to be A4 paper, which is the common paper. You can change it to an A4 paper for the paper size. And then the orientation, you can either leave it at landscape. If you want the portrait orientation, you can change it to the portrait orientation. Is that okay? You can change it to the portrait orientation. I prefer the portrait orientation, but you can still use your landscape. Anyone goes. Is that okay? Any one of them is correct. Is that okay? Then after you're done, you just go ahead and click download. You see this download big button, download PDF download button right here, just under the title export. You click on that and you download your wonderful dashboard. If you have been able to do this, I want to celebrate you. You are not just starting your journey to become one of the most professional and incredible data analysts, but you're just beginning to experience yourself do amazing things as a data analyst. So if you want to rename your sheets, you can just go ahead. You want to rename your sheet so that you can know the difference, you can go ahead and double click on any sheet to rename, or right click on it and you see the option that says rename. So if I double click on this sheet, I can rename it to, I can call this sheet 2. Instead of it being called sheet 2, I can call this dashboard. I can call this dashboard, right? Dashboard. I can come to the sheet 1. Instead of it called sheet 1, once I double click, what is double click? You click on your left click twice. That is what double click is. So if I click on that left click twice, I'll be able to edit it. And then instead of calling it sheet 1, I can call this my pivot table. I can call this my pivot table. And then the first one that is called IN, instead of leaving it as IN, the last sheet, I can call this my data set. I can call this my data set. It is always good you rename your sheet so that everything you're doing as a data analyst is organized. It's organized, is neat, is nice, is understood by everyone that is collaborating with you and working with you. So if you're able to do this, I want to celebrate you. You're amazing. You're going to submit this as your as your project 2. Make sure you use the link, the specific link, and submit this as your project 2. Thank you so much. My name still remains Favor Francis, and always remember that at Idealnovate Data School, learning is the foundation to innovation. See you in the next lesson.